This week on Cruise In, it's Fuel Up the Fight. It's the best line in the classic car hobby.
It was found in a barn in Indiana.
But this find is a little bit different.
Supposed to look like an F-14 fighter plane.
But does it fly down the freeway? Hey, nice Corvette.
Just picked it up last week.
Really?
When I left that morning, my wife says, whatever you do, don't come home with another vehicle.
You know where this is going.
When she came around the corner from work, she's...
Yep, not going there. Plus,
all that will result in different shades of yellow throughout the car. As you can see on this mirror and the door and the fender here, there are virtually 3 different colors.
the Buckeye guys give painting tips on maintaining a consistent color. And we have a blast from the past. This week, we man up from Boardman, Ohio on Cruise In. And it all starts right now. This week on Cruise In, we're testing my manhood. I'm Will Burge, and we're at Man Up in Boardman, Ohio, and look who I ran into. It's Nate from the Buckeye Guys.
Good seeing you again. I see you at all these neat car shows. The iX Center last time, and today we're at the Man Up show in Boardman, Ohio. It's put on by the local hospital here, and it's a fantastic event.
It is. There's tons of cars, so let's get started. So what exactly are you standing next to here? What is this?
Okay, it's a 1989 Pulse Auto Cycle.
And it looks like a spaceship.
It's supposed to look like an F-14 fighter plane.
Okay, I gotcha. And it's, I mean, I saw you pull in. I said, we have to talk to that guy. We have to find out about that. How did this happen? What is...
It was found in a barn in Indiana, and the owner of it fell in love with it and ended up going to Indiana, getting it and restoring it, and as far as we know, it's the only one in the state of Ohio that runs and drives.
It's so unique and so crazy. What kind of, as you're riding this thing around, what's the reaction people give you?
They try and run you off the road because they're taking pictures.
So it's dangerous?
No, it's not dangerous. It's fun to drive.
Now you're showing me it rocks side to side. I mean, it tilts. How crazy is that to get used to?
First 5 minutes, you're fine. Well, first, you know, right after it does it and you realize what it's doing and it's not going to roll completely over, it's fine.
I mean, you could take this out on the street and drive around just fine?
It's totally 100% street legal.
That's something else. So how much work has been done to this?
Oh God, I've done a ton of motor work. I've had to rebuild the reverse gear, tires, finish what people didn't do and what's happened to it over the years. I mean, we got a lot of work into it.
Is there still more to go, or is it?
Yeah, we got to do paint and, you know, stupid stuff like that. But mechanically, it's sound, it's safe. Got all the lights, everything. All that, it's all...
So not only did you get the fun job of redoing it, but you also get to ride it around too.
Yeah, I get to rebuild it, and he drove it and he didn't care for it because he has problems shifting it, so he told me to take it to car shows and trying to get rid of it.
And you end up being the star of the show, right?
Hey, works for me. I love driving it.
You said you went to a show recently and got an award for it, right?
Yeah, Grace Lutheran Church in Hubbard got People's Choice Award for it.
People's Choice Award. Of course you did. Why not?
It's the only one you're going to see. So.
Exactly. I bet people have to love this thing.
Oh, yeah. I let little kids climb in it and get pictures, hopefully spark an interest and, you know, maybe get them in the garage instead in front of the TV and video games, you know.
That's good, man.
You know, I'd much rather see them tinkering in the garage than, you know, sitting in front of a TV.
Well, thank you for bringing it out today. It was the People's Choice last one. It was my choice this time. I saw it come in. I'm like, we're talking to that guy for sure. So thank you so much for showing us.
I appreciate it.
All right, Jason, what are you standing next to here?
This is my 1957 Chevrolet Corvette.
This is absolutely gorgeous. And I see the sticker still on the window. Straight off the showroom floor or what?
Exactly, just picked it up last week.
Hi, where did you get this at?
This was my father's car. He bought it actually in 1972. He gave it to me about 10 years ago, and we just finished a full frame-off restoration.
And what all did you have to, I mean, everything?
We took everything. We took it down to the bare frame, to the bare bolts and put it all back together.
Really? What was the what needed the most work?
Pretty much everything.
Really?
It actually hadn't been restored before, so it almost was not safe to drive. It really needed a full frame off just to get it back where we could drive it safely.
Really? So you wouldn't even recognize this car then, apparently?
Well, the body was intact, and so you'd recognize it, but now it's
not driving.
Perfect.
You wouldn't recognize
not driving,
it.
Yeah.
How does it ride now?
Oh, like a new car.
Yeah. And how did he come across this when he originally got it?
He interestingly bought a 1957 Corvette, which is the year he graduated from high school. And he had to sell it when he got called up for service, and my mom was pregnant with my older sister. He came back and finished college and then bought this car in '72 from a local dealer.
And then how did you get him to give it to you? I mean, is this something you had your eye on forever, or?
Well, actually, they moved out of the house that we grew up in, so they lost all the garage space. So it had to go somewhere.
There you go. You're like, hey, I got some garage space for you.
I had a bay ready for it.
Had you had your eye on this for a long time?
Oh, he told me this car was mine from 1972.
That's awesome. So when you got it, you think, okay, I'm happy I got the car, but now all of a sudden I have all this work to do with it, or are you excited to do that work?
It turned out to be a little bit more than I expected in terms of time, money, and my wife. But now looking at it, it was worth it. And we just got back from the Bloomington Corvettes car show in Indianapolis, and it won a gold award. So this is fresh off the Indianapolis award. We actually got to take this car 2 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Really? Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
A lot of fun.
How long did the restoration process take?
This is unusual, but it took over 7 years.
Really?
Only because we only worked on it part-time.
Ah, okay. So it was a hobby. And any time in that 7 years you think, forget it, I'm done, I can't do it?
No, it had to get done. It had to get done. It's just, it took a long time to see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Was there any point in that 7 years your wife said, forget it, we're done, we're not doing this anymore?
Oh, it's for sale right now, according to my wife.
So when you're riding this around, what kind of reactions do you get from people?
A lot of looks, a lot of waves. Yeah, everyone kind of understands what America was about in the 1950s, what we could build.
And a lot of you would trailer this car and not let it touch the road, but you take this out and actually drive it around, huh?
It's still a car.
Yeah.
It's still a car, and if you don't enjoy it, then you won't make the memories for the next generation.
Amen.
If it just sits in the garage and I wipe it with a diaper.
I love the dashboard. The dashboard, the design is so clean. It's like I mean, you feel like you're taking a time machine back.
It really is.
What's your favorite part of this car?
You know what, honestly, it's the memories. And I have memories of my dad, who's actually alive and well, and wanted to make it to the show this weekend, but just driving with him, and then now driving with my kids.
That's awesome. We appreciate you bringing it out here this weekend. This is absolutely gorgeous, and great job on the restoration.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
Coming up.
She got over it quick, because it wasn't the first time I brought something home like that.
She likes it now, and you see it next. Welcome back to Man Up, Fuel the Fight from Boardman, Ohio on Cruise In.
All right, Mark, what are you standing next to here?
1950 Ford F1 pickup.
Really? And how long have you had this?
Probably about 10 years.
So about 10 years, you've had this about 10 years?
Yes.
And what kind of restorations do you have to do to this?
It was in pretty bad shape. I made the running boards and a bed for it and patched it all up and painted it, you know what I mean.
You made those yourself?
Yeah.
And where did you find this at?
Canfield swap meet.
You got this at a swap meet?
Yeah.
This isn't your normal find at a swap meet.
Well, when I left that morning, my wife says, whatever you do, don't come home with another vehicle. And then I found this, and the guy said he'd deliver it for free, so, because it didn't run, you know. And when she came around the corner from work, she wasn't too happy with me.
She's got to be happy now. It's gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those things where you saw the vision of what it could be, probably, and she's like, I don't want that thing in my house.
She got over it quick, because it wasn't the first time I brought something home like that, you know.
So how many years did it take you to put this together?
Probably about 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
And what was the hardest part?
Probably the bed and the running boards.
Yeah.
Where I worked, we have equipment, so I bent everything up, and then I brought the pieces home and finished it, you know.
And how long did those take you?
Probably about a month to do that.
Really?
Yeah. But, you know, that's just at night and a little bit on Saturdays. It's not every day.
A little part-time part-time fun for you. So what is your favorite part about this truck?
I like the bumpers, the hubcaps. The hubcaps are 57 Chrysler. The front bumper's 49 Plymouth. The hood ornament is 51 Oldsmobile. The steering wheel's from a 51 Ford car. The gear shift knob is a piston out of a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower.
So basically this is a Frankenstein is what it is.
Yeah, and it's got drive-in speakers.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
And the old pull tabs from the beer cans on it hanging. I made a chain out of that. That's what we used to do years ago.
So is it just when you found things you liked, you threw it on there, or did you have an idea of what you're looking for with all those things?
When I bought it, I just liked it because I liked this year truck, and then when I got home, I had just thought of different things I wanted to do. Went to the swap meet and bought different parts. The taillights are 49 Chrysler taillights. I'd seen the taillights and I says, I think I can make these work. And they worked.
So it's basically a mobile swap meet is what you're driving around.
It was a budget job, you know.
But I mean, you ride it around, people probably turning their necks and staring at you every time you turn, right?
Yeah. And it has a 49 Mercury motor in it.
So it moves pretty good.
Yeah, it runs all right.
Yeah?
It's not real fast, you know.
How often do you drive it around?
Just the car shows and stuff like that, you know. A couple times a week, maybe.
How does it cruise on the freeway?
Not real good because of the tires. They're bias ply tires. I wish I would have got radial tires for it because if there's a little crack in the road, you know, it'll kind of throw you.
But hey, it looks good. So.
Yeah, I could always change those, you know.
And what's your plans with this in the future? You know, keep it
Nothing,
forever,
just,
sell it, or?
No.
This one's staying with you?
Oh, yeah.
How many cars do you have?
I have 6 of these old trucks.
Oh, really?
Only 2 of them are done.
Is this your favorite so far?
I have a red one, a 48, and it has a 429 Ford motor in it. It runs pretty good. I like that one.
So how many more years before you get all the rest of them done? The wife stops yelling at you.
I hope I live long enough.
Well, I'm glad you got this one done. You brought it out this weekend. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you for showing us.
Thank you.
Up next.
The process to fix it, unfortunately, is going to be to repaint the entire car.
The Buckeye guys give you painting tips. Coming up.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Cruisin' with the Buckeye Guys. I'm Don, and this week we're going to talk about paint issues that may come up with matching paints and different styles of paint, and the issues you may run into with those styles of paint. We're standing here in front of this 1969 Boss 302 Mustang in Grabber Yellow. This car we recovered from another shop, and as you can tell, there are some different shades of yellow on this car, whether or not it was painted at different times or the primer sealer that was used underneath was different colors. All that will result in different shades of yellow throughout the car. As you can see on this mirror and the door and the fender here, there are virtually 3 different colors. The process to fix it, unfortunately, is going to be to repaint the entire car. There's no way to match the paint, especially when it's 20 years old and it was shot at a different shop. When you're shooting paints like this, pastels especially, humidity comes into play. Again, the color of the primer, you want to use a very light primer, a white or a light gray, and that'll keep your paint color consistent. When we're working with metallic colors, you can, in your head, if you picture the liquid paint has all kinds of little metal flake in it, which gives it the metallic look. As you can imagine, when you're trying to blend that, you're layering more metal flake over existing metal flake, which is going to give you a different consistency of metal flake where you've blended to where it's just regular paint. So metallic is extremely hard to blend and match paint, and a lot of times, you know, we gotta do a large area to make it look normal without too much flake in it. So if you want to paint your car metallic, just keep in mind that down the road, if you have any issues, fixing it may be a bigger job than just a simple blend. And the final paint we're going to talk about today is going to be a candy paint. Now if you've ever worked with wood before and staining wood, you know that the more layers of stain you apply, the darker the stain gets. In essence, candy paint on cars is the same deal. The more layers of that candy color you see on the car, the deeper that color will be. So when you have any type of collision or stone chips or anything like that, when you go through to fix it, you can't just spray on and blend in more paint, because that area where it overlaps will be darker than the rest of the car. So what you have to do, again, just like the metallic, is you're gonna have to go with a bigger area or even possibly the entire car. We've seen that a few times and it turns into a big nightmare. What we're getting at here is when you're choosing paint color and paint style, you wanna keep in mind that down the road, if you have any issues, there may be some challenges to getting it fixed if you have stone chips or any type of collision or anything like that. It can all be fixed one way or another. It's just a matter of time and money, really. Want to thank you again for tuning in to this week's edition of Cruising with the Buckeye Guys. Just remember, at Buckeye Restoration here, we can do any type of paint fixes like we've been talking about all day. We can take care of these issues that a lot of shops may have trouble with. We have a professional paint booth with a downdraft system. You know, on top of that, we can do any type of mechanical, sheet metal, any type of restoration needs, we can handle it here. Give us a call, 330-533-4757.
Coming up.
Well, when I first saw it, it was just bought as a, basically as a yard ornament.
That was one expensive lawn ornament. Next. From project to pride and joy, the restoration specialists at Buckeye Classic Car Restoration can make your dreams come true. Our master body, paint, and mechanical technicians have over 100 years of experience. They do research, can communicate every detail of the restoration process, and their restorations win big-time awards. Buckeye Classic Car Restoration cars have been winning awards since 2001. Let the restoration specialists at Buckeye Classic Car Restoration turn your project into an award winner. Welcome back to Cruise In. All right, well, this is a rare one. What do you got next to you?
1969 Dodge Charger Daytona.
Hey, you don't see a lot of these around.
No, there were only 503 to start with, so you don't see a lot of them around.
So I'd imagine when you found this, it was probably in much similar condition, pristine like this, great body, right?
Oh, sure, sure. Actually, it was wrecked in 1969 and then parted out. Because in 1969, it was just a car. There wasn't a whole lot of it left when we started on it, so it's come a long way.
How did you come across it?
I own a salvage yard in Alabama that specializes in vintage Chrysler parts and whatnot, and this car was actually in our salvage yard.
And when you saw it, you said, that's it, we got to have it, we got to redo it? Or did it look like it was too much to work on right then?
Well, when I first saw it, it was just bought as a, basically as a yard ornament. It was so bad that we didn't think we'd ever restore it. And it sat up at the front corner of the salvage yard for years. And people would come in and say, I can't believe you guys parted out of Daytona. I said, no, it was parted out when we got it, so we didn't do this.
And how long did it take you to get it to this point?
From the condition it was in to this was about 7 months.
Wow. The rear wing is extremely high off the car, and there's a reason for that.
Well, originally it was designed at that height so they could get the trunk lid open, but they found out that it actually worked. Once the blade reached a certain height off of the deck, it really doesn't change the dynamics of it that much. It's adjustable for adjusting the amount of downforce that's on the rear of the car, and the uprights actually are stabilizers at high speed.
And because this was used as a race car for a period of time, correct?
Well, these cars were built to allow Chrysler to race them on the NASCAR tracks in 1969. There was so much horsepower available at the time from for GM, Ford, and Chrysler that in order to get an edge, you had to do something different. So Chrysler and Ford started using aerodynamics to clean the cars up, to speed the cars up.
What took you so long to put it together, the 7 months? What was the most difficult part?
The most difficult part of putting it together was the fact there wasn't hardly anything left of it. So all the parts had to come off other cars, and there's a lot of reproduction parts in the car from Auto Metal Direct and other companies as well.
How hard is it to find pieces to a car this rare?
Well, the parts that are specific to a Daytona are very difficult because there weren't very many of the cars to begin with. There are some reproduction parts in the car. The nose cone is a steel reproduction. The components inside the nose cone are reproductions. The rear wing is an original off of a car that God knows what happened to.
So where does it go from here? Obviously, this is the shell. There's no inside. There's no engine. What's the evolution from this point?
Well, the car is basically restored at this point so people can see how the body panels fit. It's a show car for Auto Metal Direct. It'll be used for that purpose this year. The car will be finished. At some point, we'll put the drivetrain, the interior, paint it. The color thing here, this is black with a red wing. The car was originally red with a black wing. We just reversed it, and when the car is restored completely, it'll be red with a black wing again.
Are you itching to get it completely finished so you can get it out there and get some speed on it, or what?
I'm not itching to finish it. We've been working on it day and night for 7 months. I'm ready for a vacation.
You need a little time away from it at this point, right? Well, it's absolutely awesome. You don't see a lot of these around, and we appreciate you showing it to us today.
Sure, glad to do it.
But what a wonderful day out here at Man Up, a great event for a great cause. If you didn't make it out here to Boardman, Ohio, Steve, what did they miss?
They missed a great day of excitement, beautiful cars, and all the things connected to prostate cancer awareness. What a beautiful day. We had a great turnout, and I'm really excited about things that are going to make awareness for our cause, prostate cancer.
And next year it's happening again, so make sure you make your way out here to Boardman, Ohio. Plenty of thanks to go around, everybody out here at the show, and to you for tuning in to Cruise In. I'm Will Birch saying so long until next time.